Sin City is filled with people down on their luck, against all odds, desperately trying to line their pockets. This evening, it's all about coming out on top, beating those odds, and walking out with the trophy. But unlike the city, only one driver will come out victorious tonight, and a roll of the dice may win you the race, but it also may end your championship hopes. Take your picks, lay down your bets. Who's got the best chance in Las Vegas? Welcome to Sim TV. My name's Kyle. I are joined by Finney and DeCuna tonight for Chase Race 3 of 5, round number 20 of the 2020 Outsider Racing League season. We're here in Las Vegas, Nevada for the 20th round of the season. It's 2 races left in the season after tonight, and Finney with 3 rounds, or I should say 2 rounds in the book, our third one here tonight. The chase is looking pretty wild, but Connor Horn continues to lead the championship, and he has pretty much established himself as the clear favorite heading into the last 2 rounds at Phoenix and at the Indianapolis road course here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you're talking about drivers needing to roll the dice. The thing again, no other but Connor Horn definitely doesn't need to roll the dice. He just needs to get some more solid points, which, again, the pace that he's shown, he should definitely be able to do that. Guys who are behind him that are trying to chase him down on the championship hunt now are guys like AJ Stravato, currently 14 points back. Yusuf Ghali, 24 points back. They're going to have to roll the dice quite a bit because for them, it's do or die. This is where you make or break your championship for them, their championship run. And again, it started, but you need to start getting more and more points close to Connor Horn because he's been so dominant, that number 3 driver. 8 wins of this season so far. It's been incredible pace from that 3 machine.
He continues to be the dominant force of the season. Again, Las Vegas, Nevada. This racetrack is 1.5 miles long. It was constructed in 1996 in the intermediate speedway boom, so it lacks a lot of character in some ways. However, this track is also it shares characteristics with Kansas Speedway. The changes and challenges here, though, is the climate that we're in. It gets hot here in Vegas, Finian, and it's going to make that track surface very, very hot and very abrasive as well. So tire wear may be a big concern here tonight.
Yeah, again, you can say, obviously looking from above and looking at the track at first glance, it is very similar to Kansas. But again, the big difference, especially as a recent years, is the fact that Kansas got in its repave. And as you were saying, Vegas, the surface is still old and pretty abrasive on the tires. So, and we saw tires be a big deal at California at Auto Club, where we saw numerous different strategies from drivers all trying to figure out which is the correct one. I have a feeling, depending if the race goes green long enough, we could see a very similar story here.
So we just saw the tidbits there that this racetrack was constructed at a cost of $72 million. I can't say that it was probably worth all that, but
I was thinking the same thing.
they built it for that much, and it's still here. So I guess
and it's a track.
And it's a racetrack. No, we joke, but I'm excited for tonight. Chase Race 3 of 5. Now the interesting thing is that this is the last intermediate track of the season. Next week we head to the Indianapolis road course, and then we head to Phoenix for the last race of the season. So this is the last chance for someone like Connor Horn to really have a clear favorite here tonight, because I don't know if Connor Horn is the best driver for the Indy road course, and I certainly don't know if he's the best pick for Phoenix Raceway at the end of the season. So for Connor Horn, this might be the last time he's got a chance to win the race tonight. So let's see what he can do in the number 3. And I wonder if this is a throwback to Maurice Petty, and we just found out that he had passed away earlier today or this week, and I didn't get a chance to really read the article, but I imagine that's for Connor Horn. Joshua Banks is here tonight, and he's rolling off right now to get a qualifying time in. Yusuf Ghali goes to the top of the board. Let's talk about him for a minute. Finally getting that 54 back towards the top half of the grid here, Finney. He's had some better runs lately, but is it too little too late for the 54 Toyota?
It's kind of looking that way. I mean, again, he's got a chance to make this up and turn the championship back in his favor, but he's got to start now. Again, 24 points is quite a bit back. Yeah, it's almost half a race worth of point that he's got to make up on Connor Horn, who again arguably the best driver in the field at the moment. So he's really got to step up his game and make sure he needs to get wins at this point in the season. You can't settle for third, you can't settle for second. He needs to start getting wins. He needs to start getting some bonus points to his name to bring down that deficit. And he can't really, again, he's one of those drivers that's talking about. He needs to roll the dice. He needs to make sure he's winning these races at this point.
AJ Stravato just went through. He will take pole for now. Jeff Wright throttling up. He's going to get a lap in here. Interesting that he chose to wait to the very last minute here. Is the first lap going to be the best one here tonight?
I don't think so. I think it's going to take maybe the second lap. Once these tires are a little bit warmed up, guys can go a little bit faster. Similar to how any car is running. Typically, when you have a car going at full speed the entire lap, it's the second lap. Once you start building up a little bit more momentum, it's going to be just a little bit faster for these drivers. So Jeff right now coming out of through turns 3 and out of turn 4, back to the line. We'll see where he ends up currently in 12th.
He needs to beat a 30.447. It's a 29.894. Good enough for third. No, correction, 29.911 will put him third best. Still a great effort, though. A lot of drivers did not qualify, including Connor Horn. I wonder if that's by design. Again, we characterize this a lot like Kansas. Is there a lot of concern with this being a potential place for crashes, Finney? We've seen in the past people running into the walls at the end of the straightaway on tracks like Kansas and Vegas.
Yeah, and that was a big problem in the Erskine race the other night. Those guys were running the cars here, and there wasn't too much pack racing. It's a single file out relatively quickly. Again, they had a different fixed setup to work with, so that could also play a factor quite a bit. So we'll have to see how these guys are racing in the early on stages. I think Connor Horn, I think he's feeling, as you're saying, just a little bit concerned about being involved in an early wreck. He's just going to play it safe and play it from the back.
Taking a look at our weather, it is very cool for Las Vegas. 65 in the air, 68 on the racetrack. Really low humidity. We'll see if that factors in later this evening. Let's roll through our starting lineup here tonight. On the front row, AJ Stravato in the 33, Yusuf Ghali in the 54, lined up on the outside of that front row.
And moving on back to third place, you got Jeff Wright lined up in the 48. Great qualifying effort for him. Adam Cabot going to start next to him in the 77 in fourth.
Number 15 car, then Martin Sprouse starts 6th in the number 19.
Jeremy Miller going to line up in 7th place, and Bailey Chin will complete row 8 in 8th position in the 24.
In row number 5, Elliott Butler is going to start in 9th in the number 6. Onto his outside, the 25 of Tim Downey Jr. Not a career year, but a good starting spot this evening.
Reggie Ortega going to line up in 11th place in the G Machine. Joshua Banks going to line up in 12th in the 36.
In 13th place, Caleb Weekly's number 10, and on the outside, Connor Horn in the number 3, back in 14th points leader.
And Connor Horn, the first driver, notably to not put down a time. Then we got Casey Licata's lined up in the 15th car next to Brandon Gagnon in 16th in the 83.
In 17th place, Brian Chambliss in the number 9, and Brandon Bowers in the 31. He'll start 18th tonight.
Matt Wagner going to be lining up in 18th position in the 18 machine. Bryce Clues is going to line up 19th in the 20 car.
And the last couple rows of drivers here in 21st place, going to be Steve Turner in the 21st place car in the 22nd number. I don't even know what I was trying to say there. But David Mott Jr. will be wrapping out the rest of the field here. But thing to note about not only the weather, but look at the time of day here, Finney. And we're going to be in a day-to-night transition. The track is already cool, so I'm not sure the temperature is going to change a whole lot, but the sun might be in the eyes on the corner to the entry to turn number 1.
Go right aboard and see if that is the case for these drivers.
Not yet, but it might be towards the end of the daylight time here. As we head through turns 1 and 2, we're going to head up onto the back straightaway. Restarts and starts going to be the big discussion tonight. Getting down through the exit of turn 2 without wadding the car up. Everyone's going to want to fan out. You're going to want to use that apron on the front straightaway, but to funnel down into turns 1 and 2 is really going to be where I expect a lot of the action to happen.
Absolutely. You got to be careful with the kind of pack style restarts we've been seeing in recent years in NASCAR. You have to be very careful with that, because with everyone bunched up so close together, it leads to a high chance of getting involved in a wreck. And remember, that's it. I really think why we're seeing Connor Horn start from the back. He's going to try to play it easy. Hopefully, by being in the back, he doesn't get himself involved in a wreck. But we see Adrian Stravato get another pole from the season. Great. A really solid run for AJ, regardless of where he finishes in the championship.
You can follow along in real time on simtvbroadcasting.com/timing to get live timing and scoring here. Drivers with the white numbers on the timing and scoring screen on the broadcast here are your Chase competitors. Chase race 3 of 5, round number 20 of the season. Green flag in the air from Sin City, Las Vegas, racing for Outsider Racing League. Front straightaway. It's Jeremy Miller in the number 30. The caution is going to fly as the rest of the field tries to sneak on through. Bailey Turner's involved and caution out. Big wreck in the early going. Miller torn up.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what happened here. Looks like it happened off the nose of the 24. Bailey Turner is what started this incident.
Let's go back and have a look here at the exit of the corner. Bailey Turner to the outside, just came off the wall just the slightest bit and turned him up into the fence. Oh, then someone just snuck by there, barely. And let's going back, and this is hard to tell, and I'm not really sure if this is on the 24 or the 30 here. Opening lap, the 24 is to the outside. Does he have established space out there? I think he comes off the wall just that slightest bit, Finian.
Yeah, Turner is saying that was on him for that incident. Came out the corner. You can kind of see he came back down on the exit. I think was trying to avoid the wall, and then obviously just came just a little bit too much. Got into the 30.
Yeah, big hit for him, and then Bailey Turner himself, he's going to loop it.
Yeah, right on board with Brian Chambliss says he's going to come into frame in just a second. Watch how he avoids the 24.
You saw him just past the screen there. Brian Chambliss in the number 9, and here is what his view looked like. Whoa. Did a great job missing the 24 car. Look at that. And the 22 of Steve Turner also did a really good job. We'll ride him over with him.
Yeah, I was actually watching Bailey just sitting in the middle of the check, and these two guys coming flying past. Turner, woo!
Oh, man, that's so close. So Miller and the... I think Miller's the only one that's going to walk out of that with damage, but see how much it really is. Bailey Turner on pit lane as well. AJ Stravato retains the lead in a wild opening lap here in Chase Race number 3 for the Outside iRacing League. Again, on the left-hand side of the screen, the drivers with the white numbers are your Chase competitors. Coming into the night, Connor Horn's got a pretty sizable lead here, Finian. So what's his goal tonight? Is that any different than it was last week?
The cleaner. Oh, you're saying for Connor Horn?
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about AJ Stravato. For Connor Horn, sorry. For him, this is kind of a difficult situation. If I was him, I honestly would have qualified in the front, mainly because Connor, he's shown he has the pace to be up near the front. I think a lot of the times, if you feel like you might end up midfield, you may want to start towards the back, just be better safe than sorry. But now Connor's kind of cemented himself. He's got to get up through the order at some point. He can't afford to finish all the way back in 20th position. So he's got to step up at some point. I think he's kind of waiting for this early run, maybe for a green flag run, to then start moving back up through the order. But again, it's kind of risky because we saw it last week at Martinsville that he picked up some damage and never was truly able to recover from that.
Love the livery on this car. Simple. I really enjoy simple paint schemes like this when they're done well, and this color just lends itself to that really nice scheme for him. You see Jeremy Miller, he's back out on the racetrack. Car is damaged. Spent about 1 minute and 20 seconds on the pit lane, and I can't imagine it's going to be a whole lot of fun to drive, but at least it's back out there rolling.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how bad the damage is for the 30. I think most of it should be relegated to the rear of that machine, so which is not too terribly bad. Obviously, it's not going to drive completely the way it was when I roll off the truck, but I think he should be pretty okay. Bailey Turner also sent to the back of the field for causing that incident.
Oh, looks like Miller will line up back in 19th. Matt Wagner with a really good-looking interstate battery scheme.
Yeah.
Again,
this is how they should have done it.
Yeah.
Not the
zebra stripes was bad. The one that they have now, it's like sort of like how it was in 2008, 2009. That's a little bit better. The zebra stripe thing was the worst thing to ever happen to motorsports. Yeah. But
I just kind of wish they brought this one back. I know. I guess because they changed their branding. I guess. Well,
Kyle ran this at Texas a few years ago. I think in 2016. Throwback to, I think it was Dale Jarrett's version of this scheme. So I remember that being. So let's check back in up towards the front of the field. There's Jeff Wright. He's had a pretty good start to the night so far in the Lowe's and Ally sponsored Camaro. Alex Bell up to 3rd in the number 15 car and started in 5th. So he's actually, started in 5th, moved up to 4th. So 1 spot gained for him as we got the lights out on the pace car coming back to the green flag this time. Early predictions here, Finn. I know that we're really early in this race, but take a pick now. Is there a driver in this field that maybe isn't up front that we should be keeping an eye on?
I mean, obviously Connor Horn. I think is probably the biggest one for that. I mean, I guess really because of that incident, I would say Bailey Turner. He's been showing some pretty good speed in recent weeks, but obviously with that incident's going to set him back quite a few positions. So I think we might expect both the 3 and the 24 to try to claw their way up the order at some point.
Got my eye on Adam Cabot's number 77, Chase competitor. Will restart in 6th. As the field rolls through the exit of turns 3 and 4. 33 and the 48 lined up side by side. Behind them, Yusuf Ghali, Alex Bell, Ben Martin Sproul, Adam Cabot, Elliott Butler, Reggie Ortega, Tim Downey Jr., Joshua Banks. Here we go. Lap number 6. We'll try this again from Las Vegas. Green flag back in the air. Racing again from Sin City. Good clean getaway for the front couple drivers as we work through 1 and 2. Aiming for the bottom of the race. Oh, big slide in the 30 and 24. Collided again down in turn number 1. The 30 going to try to come to a stop, and he'll get back rolling. We're going to stay green.
Yeah, and I think those two not completely on board with each other. The 30 and the 24 both making contact, but as you complete the first lap out, the racer are going to keep on keeping green. As you see Bell trying to take away second place, and more guys racing on back, so we started in double file back up.
Look at Reggie Ortega's paint scheme. That is a great looking race car. New scheme for him. Looks like something out of Cars, like the movie. That's a great looking scheme. Love that. That is probably one of the coolest schemes I've seen in a long time, actually. Simple but effective. I dig it. For the race lead, though, Strado and Bell and Jeff Wright all battling for a spot.
Yeah, Wright throwing it up the inside. Bell working around the outside. He's going to get the nice run off the corner. I think that outside is going to be the place to be. The run is just so easy to carry. But Wright slowly moving back along on the inside. Strado trying to keep everyone in behind him.
Look who's here. Adam Cabot. The bottom of the racetrack started fourth. He's back where he started now. And again, I think the bottom of the racetrack is going to be the place to be for most of the night. I don't really see the high side becoming usable, especially with the cool temperatures and the nighttime transition. Oh, 3 wide behind him. Yusuf Ghali's in the middle of it. On the outside is Martin Sproul in the 19. On the inside is Joshua Banks taking a clip through the grass on the inside to try to leave him as much space as possible. For the lead, here comes Bello on the outside lane. I didn't think this would be an effective line, but he's going to get it done. Bell goes for the race lead.
Fantastic job done, and again, that outside still really looking strong early on, and Wright also going to try to follow on through as Rado falls back to third place as his teammate goes around him on the outside.
Rado going the wrong direction. Jeff Wright through to second. There's Elliott Butler now showing face inside the top 5. Yusuf Ghali still under attack from the 19. And Martin Sproul, Tim Downey Jr., Reggie Ortega, all line astern behind him.
Yeah, Serrano got a very poor exit out of the corner, clipped the apron. Yeah, I saw a lot of that happen in the Erskine race that was here. You got to avoid that again. It's very tempting. These guys are running right along that white line. You clip the apron, though, you get your car really loose, and you can end up wrecking. As you see right now, work around the outside. He's going to take the lead away from Bell.
He's got it. Jeff Wright to the top spot. It's been a miserable season for him. Trouble. The 54.
Involved in a wreck. He hits Martin Sproul down to the inside. Looks like we're going to remain green.
A lot of damage to the back of the 54. Big damage on that car. Lap 11, and he's in the points championship. He needs to have a good night tonight. It looks like he might have tangled with the 19 of Martin Sproul. Sproul might come off the apron here just the slightest bit. Right there.
Yeah, I was just talking about it. You're saying that he hit the apron a little bit and pushed the car up the road.
A lot of damage to that 54. He didn't really hit a whole lot. But right here, just comes up off the apron, just tags the 54, and Reggie Ortega might have swiped the back end of that. Let's see if the two cars any damage. I'm not seeing a whole lot. Maybe the slightest. No, that car looks clean. So, there's a little hit on the splitter there. Car loose, and on the bottom, that's Joshua Banks. He's got some internet issues, so he's going to drop out of the race lead. Meanwhile, Alex Bell putting pressure to the back of the 48.
Yeah, he's not done yet in Bell. Yeah, he's been really hungry this season. A lot of times he's been near the front, especially in the last few weeks. Very close to getting a win.
He hasn't won a race yet this season. Is that correct?
Nope, has not. Yeah. Still waiting to get that first win of the season. I think also the series too. I don't think we've seen him in victory lane at all. But yeah, he's been really hungry. Been so close on numerous occasions late in part of the season. Just quite hasn't got it yet. He's looking at a really good shot tonight.
The field spread out a little bit after a couple scares since the green flag drop. Only one caution slowing our progress. That was on the end of lap number 1. AJ Stravato, our pole sitter, has gone all the way back to 5th. But for the lead, Bell chasing right down to the apron.
Side again, and you see a few guys in behind him. They're just kind of following in line as well. But Bell gonna see him get that run off the corner, and look at that run down the straightaway. You just can't beat that.
Now let's remember that there was also some changes in recent weeks, actually, just either today or yesterday, that changed the drafting characteristics of these cars. So they're going to draft a little bit better. I'm not sure how much that's going to affect the aero push, but I expect the side draft especially to be a lot more effective than it has been in the past.
I see Bill back on the inside trying to get a run. Again, he's so hard to keep the run going on that inside lane. Just get pinched up. You see now Elliott Butler going to take advantage, rock around the outside. Also same thing with Adam Cabot in the 77.
Cabot again is the one I'm sort of watching, lingering in 4th. And when he lingers, he's usually pretty quick and just holding off, showing how fast he is. Tim Downey Jr. is not too far out of this either, and it has been a drastic reduction in performance from last season to this season. And we've covered it a bunch of times, but again, it's just so shocking to me how the previous champion can be so far off tonight. Yeah. So far, a return to form.
And also, it's just, as you're saying, it's not been a really good run for Tim Downey this season. His highest finish this season is only 8th, and he only has one top 10. So this is his highest running. If he finishes here, this will be his highest finish of the season so far. Again, it hasn't been completely good, but having a really good, solid night tonight.
Connor Horn got Reggie Ortega all over his tailpipes down into turn 1. 14th to 7th, so +7 for the 3-car, and he's chasing this group in front of him. Big suck up here on the back straightaway. There is a little bit of damage to the nose of that 2-car, but it doesn't seem like it's hurting him so far.
Yeah, and Horn just got around Ortega now, as you're saying, chasing down the guys in the lead pack. And there's actually that incident with Yusuf Gali and Martin Sprout that actually kind of opened up the field and spread them out a little bit. I think that helped Connor quite a bit to navigate through some traffic. Now here he is, finding himself near the front, and I imagine he's going to make some pretty easy work of these guys up ahead.
Look at the speed he's going to carry. I was wrong. Earlier in the race, I thought the outside line would be pretty much dead, but we're seeing the only passes really happening up in that middle groove.
Yeah, it's just really hard to beat that run off the corner that these guys have been getting on this track. And yeah, the inside lane, you're just choking off too much speed for them to carry through the corner.
Reggie Ortega moving up along the outside of the 25 and bring Brian Shambles with him in the Renenzo Radar car. Clifton Cockrell up to 10th spot, started 22nd, very tail of the field, and he's made a pretty good progress forward, up 12 spots from where he started.
Yeah, absolutely, and it looks like he might still continue to climb forward here. He's got to deal with Brian and also Reggie right there, right in front of him, but it looks like he's starting to get around him.
19 laps into this race and about 14 since the restart, and we've still got a pretty tight pack. Well, I will say that we're kind of strung out a little bit single file, which is going to make passing a lot difficult. You see Elliott Butler dealing with Adam Cabot right behind him, getting stuck in line, and this is when this package in iRacing starts to look very realistic. It's when you get stuck in behind in the single file group.
Trust me, it's going to be very realistic. Well, after about 15 laps, it seems that these tires have been kind of falling off to the point where passing gets significantly harder. We're definitely going to see some jockeying here in the back as Shamley's still working on the inside of Tim Downey Jr.
And you were just here the other night with the Belly Up Invitational, and I didn't really get a chance to see how that race looked, but it was a slightly shorter race, but same car, same track. How does this compare to that race so far? Does it look any different?
Pretty much the same. We didn't get quite too many green flag runs. We got close to almost having green flag pit stops at one point, but the runs were, for the most part, pretty short, which kept the action entertaining. But definitely for these guys, which have been really clean this season so far, we expect a long green flag run. I think it's going to boil down again to good old strategy.
Well, that's the interesting thing is the tire drop off. We've been green for about 16 or 17 laps now. About 2 seconds worth of drop-off in pace, or at least we're approaching 2 seconds in drop-off. So the overcut-undercut situation in a race with this many laps, overcut might be the way to go. We'll see how it pans out. Left right leads the way. 22 laps into this race. Elliott Butler in second, Adam Cabot in third. It's a 6, 7, 8 cars, all Chevrolet Camaros. Before we see the Toyota of Tim Downey Jr. and a couple of Camaros.
Yeah, it's not been a good run for the Toyotas here, to say the least. Granted, there aren't that many of them. That's also another point.
Well, keeping an eye on our points leader. 14th to 4th, and he continues his climb past pole sitter AJ Stravato. Now he's got Adam Cabot to search for.
With Yusuf, he's kind of looking at dropping out of the points race with the finish, where he's currently running at 17th. Yeah, that pretty much just leaves AJ Stravato really the only one that can fight with Connor Horn at the moment. So AJ needs to get a finish ahead of Connor Horn. Doesn't matter by how much, but any finish just to make sure that he's not losing points in 3 is going to be big.
How much of this is tire conservation and how much of this is raw pace? I'd have to imagine that saving tires would be the best way to be fast in the long run here, but Connor Horn has been pretty aggressive from the outset of this race.
And that's really the key thing we've seen time and time again. We saw in the 3-wide Grand National Division. We saw Nick and Delicato. He was pretty fast, not the fastest, maybe I would say that would go to Matt Grunberg, but even though Indelicato wasn't the fastest, was still fast and also did a great job of conserving his tires. I think Connor Horn, very similar driver in that respect. He's done a fantastic job of carrying his tires really long and still keeping the life in them to go decently fast, and that's what a lot of the other guys think in the series lack, and that's where they kind of fall short of the pace compared to that 3.
110 laps to go. Here's battle for 10th, Clifton Cockrell and Brennan Bowers in the 31. Haven't mentioned his name yet tonight. 18th to 10th, so +8 for him in the 31 Havoline car.
Guys in the back moving up. In fact, looking also another decent mover is Brian Chambliss, who started 16th up into 8th. He's been on a pretty good tear through the field. And again, I think this is also another driver that was kind of saving tires a little bit to move himself up.
Here's an interesting move here. Connor Horn to the bottom of the racetrack, trying a different line. We're going to see if it prevails here. I'd imagine the outside is pretty good at defending spots, and it looks like Cabot's going to hang on for now, but we're starting to see Connor Horn hit that wall and unable to go any further. I'm sure he'll get there, but it's getting very difficult. So remember this towards the end of the race, that when you get to somebody, you better pass them while you got fresh tires that are maneuverable, because once those tires begin to burn off, it's going to get very, very hard to make passes.
Yeah, and again, that's what we're talking about. That 15-20 lap window is really where you want to start getting things done. The later part of the run is just nothing. You're not really going to get a whole lot out of the car, especially on the inside lane. We're seeing Horn still struggle to work by Cabot.
Horn tucked back in the line for a moment before popping back out, and Cabot seems to have figured out that running that middle groove and kind of arcing down an exit is the fastest way to go when you got someone chasing you. But then when he's alongside, you just stick to the high side, and you're pretty much unbeatable at that point.
Looking at the fuel run for these guys, can expect to see them on pit road in about 20 laps time. These guys can go 46 laps on a tank, 45 to 50 laps on a tank, before they have to make a stop. And I'm sure they cannot wait to come back down on pit road again when considering looking at the fall off in the times these drivers are seeing.
When you put fresh tires on, you feel like Superman. I mean, you're flying through the field. The other thing is that the longer you wait to put tires on, the later in the green flag run that your tires will come on. And that's the frustrating thing. It sucks to burn up tires and then go backwards. I feel like it's more fun to conserve them and move forward. Wow, AJ Stravato, did you see that slide on corner exit? What a drive.
Yeah, he's really pushing the issue here. Just trying to get a run. And that's the problem, too. He had a great run, nowhere to really go, as he also went sideways out of there.
He was driving it there for a minute, but he'll hang on and retain 6th spot. Whoa, Connor Horn giving a bit of a push to the back of the 77. I think Cabot knows he's there.
Yeah, I think that wasn't my design. I think Horn was trying to look to the outside. Cabot was like, nope, you can go around the inside. You can have it all to your liking.
Here he comes. Great run at the exit of turn 2. Cabot had to choke the car a little bit on exit, and here comes the 3 with a great run to the bottom. We'll see if he can run down there and clear the 77. It's going to be close, but not quite there. Going to try to slide up on corner exit, and he'll do it.
Cabot going to go back on the inside of the 3. We'll see how this is going to prevail. He's got a great run heading down the front straightaway at 77. Looks like he might be able to get by if he can throw into the corner hard enough.
He wasn't able to do it, and Connor Horn did a great job of bullying the 77 on corner exit a little bit, but Elliott Butler a little slow through 1 and 2. That's going to bring the battle for 3rd right to the tailpipes of the 2nd place car.
Connor Horn cutting down in front of Cabot to defend that spot to solidify himself in 3rd place. Now to chase down Butler and Jeff Wright.
Behind them, Brennan Bowers and Tim Downey Jr. fighting for 9th place at the moment, but staying up front. Connor Horn looking outside and maybe try to carry a little bit more speed, and it's a little easier on the tires up there as well, but not be running and hugging that bottom line so much.
See actually if he's going to bother fighting with the guys up in front, or if he's going to sit him behind. Although by the run he's got off the corner, looks like he's going to try to fight. Going to try to look around the outside, heading on the front straightaway. This is kind of hard on the front straightaway. Look to the outside because it's consistently turning to the left. It's kind of hard to build up that run. You see him not able to get entirely there by turn 1.
Yusuf Ghali has pulled that number 54 down pit lane. That car is done for the evening. That's a disappointment early in the going for the 54 to get damaged like that. And that might effectively take him out of the championship video.
Yeah, I think this is, that wreck really hurt him. He also picked up a lot of rear end damage too. I'm not sure that was because of that incident or
Yeah, no, it was in that incident. I'm not exactly sure if it was the 2-car of Ortega just tagging him as he went by, or if it was from the side-by-side contact with the 19 Martin Sproul. But either way, that damage did come from there, and the car's just way off pace. And, it's not a whole lot of fun to ride out there. Look at the 6-car crossover to the bottom, trying to get back by Connor Horn.
He's not giving this up easily and without a fight. Horn gonna pinch him down to the corner. Nothing Butler can do. He has to let off the gas, and looks like Servato's gonna take advantage of that. Dark Smoke looking to be lining up 1-2, and as Servato gets it around Butler, 1-2-3 for Dark Smoke Racing.
And they've got it here, and they've been so strong lately. Look at Adam Cabot trying to go to the outside of the 6. Everybody's ganging up on Butler through turn 1.
Yeah, and we got Butler and Cabot, both part of Supercharged Racing, trying to get ahead of the Dark Smoke guys that have kind of got a monopoly on the field at the moment.
Oh, wow, car almost got to the wall. That was the 19 of Martin Sproul. Almost tagged it at the exit of turn 2. And Cabot's going to sneak around the outside. Here comes Alex Bell. This is like reverse Martinsville right now. You want to get to the high side, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, you need to do the best you can to defend. You see Cabot trying to keep Bell in behind. Doesn't want to give him that lane to work with, although Bell will have the lane up on Butler. Nowhere to go exactly.
What's on the dashboard of that 15 car?
That's his face.
You know, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, I'll give him that. He's the only driver in the field that can take advantage of the fact that you compete on that.
I mean, if it's there, you might as well use it, right?
I was honestly planning on doing something on my car. I was going to put myself with the laser eyes.
Oh, man. Bell to the bottom, looking by Adam Cabot, as Jeff Wright has begun to extend his lead a little bit. Now half a second.
I'm curious to see how long this is going to last, because, logic would dictate that Horn, especially the pace has been going out, will reel him back in, but Bell to the inside, Cabot to the outside, out of turn 4.
Horn last time by was just about a tenth quicker than the race leader. But again, once you get to the rear bumper, it's a whole different thing to get by the race leader. I want track position, but I also want tires, and this is a difficult conundrum to have, because I think track position is probably a little bit more important, but I don't want to stay out with 5 laps to go. I'd rather have tires. So if we get a late race caution, I will be so intrigued on what the drivers decide to do.
Yeah, that's where you're going to kind of start, deciding, weighing in your benefits versus your losses there at that point with the late race caution. Because that throws everything out the window. You have to completely readjust your strategy, which is kind of unfortunate. We don't really see cautions on road courses, because it is the exact same thing. You can't science out a road course race like you can now without having to worry about cautions. But Tim Denny Jr. Is having a really good run earlier. Was up as high as 6 places. He dropped the way back down to 11 behind Bryce Cluso.
And thinking about road courses, next week, the Indy road course. We've been there before with the Outsider Racing League, and that was a dramatic one. So I'm not going to, I'm going to try to be there next week. It'll be a Saturday night. I'll be in Mid-Ohio for Grid Life Touring Cup, but I will try to be here on Saturday night. And that is really going to be an interesting race to watch, because now that the drivers have practiced a little bit, I know Bailey Turner accidentally practiced for that race thinking it was tonight, so he might be the one to watch next week.
Yeah, he did really well at, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he take the win, or he almost took the win?
I believe he did win, and it was in dramatic fashion because he wrecked Jeff Wright in the last lap. At least that's how I remember it.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think you are right about that, yeah. Well, I'm actually kind of glad that this race has become a staple as part of the calendar, and I'm actually hoping that real life NASCAR actually decides to go to the road course.
Where, in Indy?
The Indy road course, yeah.
Well, they did. The Xfinity cars did.
Well, for the Cup Series.
Yeah, the oval for Cup cars might as well burn. It's the Indianapolis Oval is good for IndyCar, and that's basically it. And I refuse to accept anybody's argument otherwise. Road course racing's better than any Brickyard race that the Cup Series has ever done. Period. Sorry. Watch the Xfinity race and tell me different. Off topic, we've lost our front 3 drivers. Wright, Horn, and Travato have kind of checked out. 1.3 back is Cabot, Bell, Butler, and Reggie Ortega is up in this group now.
Yeah, and again, one of those drivers, I think, is kind of biding his time, saving his stuff, saving his equipment. Now he's going to have a chance to make some quick work of the guys up ahead. If he can get past, that is, that's easier said than done.
He's still got some damage on that car that he hasn't gotten a chance to fix either, so Maybe he'll pick up a couple more miles an hour on the straightaway once he gets that resolved, but for now, tucked in behind, I'm not sure that you're going to feel that damage quite as much as if you're out in clean air.
There can't quite get there. You see Butler. The Butler also struggling too in the journey here. You see him pushing the ball off the corner. Reggie able to keep the car nice and tight to the apex and going to go down the inside of Butler here heading to turn 1.
Again, we haven't really seen a lot of drivers be able to successfully complete this inside pass, but Ortega will. And he'll go through into 6th. Big slide up on corner exit. Butler's going to cross him up. Have a good run here. He might be able to clear. Oh, he swerved hard left. Not sure he'll have enough momentum to clear the 2 car, but he's going to give it a shot.
Yeah, it looks like Butler's starting to run out of tires. That car looking really tight. You can see him walking up the hill there, heading through 3 and 4. They're definitely starting to struggle here on pace. I can imagine him coming, not only himself, but the rest of the field coming down to pit road in the next 5 or so laps.
Handful of drivers have already seen pit lane today, but it was under the first caution flag of the day, which was back at lap number 1. So that pit stop really did nothing for them. Strategy-wise, I'd expect everyone to be hitting pit lane at about the same time. Jeff Wright lead, or his lead was about a half a second. It has dwindled down to 3/10 and sort of stagnated there the last few laps.
Yeah, I think this is kind of maybe a team decision. I think because you can see all 3 of them broken away from the rest of the field. I think they kind of like what they got at the moment. Pit stops are occurring in, again, about 5 or so laps time. No reason to really force the issue here. I think they're content just kind of running 1, 2, 3 at the moment.
Ryan Shambles and Bryce Calusa. This is for 8th place right now. Shambles has it. Calusa wants it. And to the bottom of the racetrack goes the 20, and I don't think Shambles is going to fight this a whole lot.
Now, Calusa got another driver that's kind of been biding his time, and now moving up the order. Elliott Butler peeling off to come down pit road as one of the first front runners to come down to start the cycle. Clifton Cockrell in behind, also going to peel off to come down pit road.
Interesting note about Brian Shambles. He's got Redenzo radar on the side of that car. It's also a SimTV sponsor. They sent us, as part of our sponsorship deal, they sent us one of their detectors. And Finian, have you gotten a chance to try yours out yet? Because I've used mine religiously since I installed it.
No, I haven't been out that much, and especially on the highway too, so I haven't really had a chance to use it yet, unfortunately.
If you or you're on expressways or throughways frequently, you need one of these things. It's like $250, and it will save you so many tickets. I don't have any tickets on my record, Finian, but I can tell you that it's probably saved me from at least one. And it's already paid for itself, even if I had purchased it. So Redenzo, they really do make a pretty cool product. I'm just shocked that everyone doesn't have one, because it's such a simple thing to install. And if it saves you from one ticket, it pays for itself. It just makes sense.
Yeah, it really does, and definitely check them out. As you see Jeff Wright heading down from the lead onto pit road. Alex Bell also behind, gonna peel off, and starting to see more and more drivers now head down to pit road to start this pit stop sequence.
So we're past the 1/3 mark of this race, and now the question becomes, what strategies are we going to see get used here? And I'm a little bit surprised to see Jeff Wright come down first. I would have thought, as the leader, you'd stay out longer and stay out to the end of the fuel run as much as possible to overcut this as much as you could. And I think Connor Horn's strategy is to do just that, and I think that's the winning strategy here today.
Interested in seeing how this is all going to play out. I imagine Connor Horton's going to be in a winning strategy, because he's made some great calls. You think back to Auto Club, the call he made for only 2 tires was able to carry enough speed and notice it, because he noticed that the tires weren't wearing off as much on the left, and saved him enough time and was able to get back up to the front.
Into Magic Man after that one. I don't know how he made that happen. A little bit of magic. I don't know if you need magic this week or luck. We're in Vegas. Make your bets now, as AJ Stovato's going to jump on the binders and head to pit lane. Very tough pit lane entry here. Not quite as bad as Chicagoland, but it's... Whoa, you see the 2 car of Ortega. Did he get the wall?
Oh, he's almost hit something, but he's definitely gone off of pit road. That's going to be a penalty here.
Yeah.
Not sure if he's going to be able to get that cleared.
Oh, and again, this is what I was telling you about. Is it's not quite Chicagoland hard, but it's hard. Here's Ortega pulling off the racetrack, and it was already loose before he even hit the apron. And did a really good job not hitting anything, but it will cost him probably another trip down pit lane.
Yeah, that's going to really effectively ruin his race unless you get a caution to kind of straighten things for him. But
not likely.
I think he might.
Not likely to see a caution. We've been green since lap number 6, and now that the field's spread out, I don't really see it happening anytime soon, although I've been wrong before about that. Connor Horn all by his lonesome right now. And I'd expect him to come in the last of everybody. And here he comes.
Now, we should expect to see him in behind his teammates that came in a little bit earlier than him, but again, he's going to have some fresh tires to work with this run. Actually, as we go back to what should be our leaders, Jeff Wright and Elliott Butler is currently side by side for that lead spot.
Yeah, and they still have to cycle out. Horn and Gagnon still technically in front of them. Gagnon has now just hit pit lane, so Jeff Wright will cycle back out to lead this race. Alex Bell is about 2 seconds back from this battle. And Connor Horn rolling again. He's a long way down pit lane, though, from where he started. You can see the leaders coming. He's going to lose quite a bit of time, but he should gain this back by the end of the run.
Yeah, especially considering he's got some clean air to work with, so as they're already gone and passed into turn one, you can see it's going to be almost a straightaway or two. I'm just curious to see where he ends out of line. Wow.
He's trying to get out there as quickly as possible. He's going to drop all the way outside of the top 5, down to 7th. He's going to lose probably, I don't know, 10 seconds on this whole deal, but it's going to come back and help him. Again, the other drivers already have a few laps on their tires, 5 laps on their tires, and Connor Horn's got fresh ones on, so he will, by the end of this run, catch these drivers again. The question is, will it be a big enough difference where he'll be able to drive by these drivers? Has yet to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, well, if anyone can do it, I think it's going to be Connor Horn. This is a pace that he's shown this season is on another level. So I do expect to see him back there in some capacity, if not changing the strategy for the next run. These guys are going to have to come down pit road again.
Let's go through the field here at lap number 55 and talk about some of these drivers. Jeff Wright in the 48. It has been an okay season. He is a chase competitor, but it has not been the season that he would have expected after being a threat constantly on road courses and short tracks. Been kind of an off year for the 48. But the 6 car behind him, Elliott Butler, he was a runner-up in the championship a couple seasons ago, and maybe not quite in position to do that this season, Finian, but he's had a pretty okay year.
You know, I'm saying he's been runner-up twice in a row for when Alec Martinez won the championship. I remember he was fighting him for that. And also last season, too, had a chance of getting a swing at Tim Downey Jr. when he won his championship. So Butler's been runner-up for quite a while. I don't think he's going to be runner-up this year. He's currently situated 9th in the points. It's not as good of a run as he's had in season past, but a good run this race so far, currently sitting in 2nd place.
Alex Bell in 3rd place right now in the 15th. Started up in 5th. He's had some okay runs, ran pretty well at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, and has been a contender for top 5s and top 10s, but hasn't quite found himself in victory lane just yet. Another chase competitor, and might take a little bit of luck, but Alex Bell could certainly find payday here in Sin City. AJ Stravato has had a halo year after having what was probably the most miserable couple of years in his sim racing career. Had the worst luck of anybody, Finian. He's turned it around with a trio of victories, 2 of them or at least one of them at Daytona. He has been rock solid this season and certainly a championship competitor.
Yeah, absolutely. Don has been amazing how much he's turned this season around. In fact, has also not only just gotten 3 wins, but also with this race included, 3 pulls to his name this season as well. So he's been really fast in general. Moving back to Connor Horn, has just gone around Adam Cabot. I don't think there's really much to say for Connor Horn, except just looking at his stat sheets. 8 wins this season so far. He's absolutely dominated this season. And after just a few mistakes, I've kind of put him, I guess, made the championship a little bit closer than he would have liked. He's still looking at a really solid points coming out of here if he continues this run.
Adam Cabot in the 77 finds himself 6th right now after starting up in 4th. It's been a pretty good year for the 77 as well. Always been in top 5, top 10 contention. Runs 6th right now. Steve Turner in the 22. We documented his return to ORL after a very long step away from the series. He's been back, and it's been hit or miss. He's had some pretty solid runs, but hasn't had the finishes that he's deserved. Runs 7th right now after starting in 21st.
Clifford Cockrow having a really solid midfield run where he's been for most of the season. Is not a playoff contender, but still running a pretty good race. And he's been slowly improving on paces. He's definitely improved quite a lot this season, and especially compared to season past, has moved himself further and further up the order. So great run so far for the 16.
Bryce Calusa, the number 20, started in 20th spot tonight, runs 9th at the moment. He's had flashes of greatness, still hasn't really found his stride and the consistency that he deserves to have, considering his pace at a lot of racetracks. Solid run in the top 10 right now, about to be taken away from Brian Shambles, another driver that's been struggling for consistency. Didn't make the chase this season, but has been in contention for top 10s this season as he looks to take over 9th place from Bryce Calusa here. Great battle with Steve Turner. This is all for 7th spot as they exit the corner.
Oh yeah, and you You see again, this is where the different tires come into play here. 3 wide down the front, straight in for all these drivers. Someone's got to give, I would imagine, by the time they get to the corner. Looks like it's going to be Caluso. He's got to back off on the inside.
Oh, Steve Turner had a big moment down into turn number 1. He's going to save it and hang on. And Caluso almost ran into the side of the 9 at Chambliss off into turn 1. He saved it as well. People are getting pretty statey out there, more so than I would have thought given the weather.
Yeah, I think this might be just the way they're pushing the tires. Some might be pushing them a little bit too much compared to what they can handle, and just obliterating the tire life earlier than they would expect, and that's kind of causing that effect. You see Blues get around Cockrell, and so is Brian Chambliss going to try to do 2 for 1 here heading down to turn 1.
I don't think you can maintain that inside line and carry speed on exit, so he's probably going to lose out on this to the 16 when they get up off the exit of the corner, but the 20 car clearly up into 7th, and you see right behind the 10th place car, now the 25 at Tim Downey Jr., as Chambliss and Cockrell continue to run side by side, and now Chambliss will get by the Milwaukee Tool Camaro.
And up ahead of these guys, battle about a start for 3rd place. AJ Stravado's caught up to Alex Bell, and now reeling him down to back inside the top 3.
Stravado was the pole sitter tonight. He's had a pretty good evening. I'm not going to say that it's bad, but I'm a little bit surprised that he hasn't been a little higher up the order given where he started. I would have thought he'd been able to hang on to that just outside of where I think he should be running. I would expect to be 3rd or better, but he is chasing down Alex Bell. Maybe Bell burned up those tires a bit too quick.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Again, you have to watch the tires throughout this run. The track is too abrasive. You're losing too much time. You're pushing them too hard. And guys who are able to save them the most have been able to have been the fastest overall, and again, that's going to really buy you, can get you a lot of points at the end of the day. Speaking of which, in behind there's a blue car. It's the number 3 on the side of the door. It's Connor Horn knocking on the door.
It's easy to spot tonight, I'll give you that. Petty blue car. And there's a handful of positions he all wants to have up to 2nd place. He could grab big dive into turn number 1, and Alex Bell tried to slam the door shut, had to leave him a little bit of space, put him off to driver's right just enough, and Bell now has to give way to the 3 car down the backstretch, but a push from the 33 going to get him back clear.
Yeah, no, Connor Horn's got to be a little bit patient here because, again, he's got significantly better tires than everyone else, but it could easily, if he forces the issue too much, can easily cause a wreck and get himself involved. But he gets a great run off the corner, going to throw it down the inside. Stravato pinching him down almost to the grass down the front straightaway.
Yeah, Stravato wanted to deny him that spot. He will for now. Double wide into turn number 1. 6:33, 3:15 in that order as they make their way through the corner. Butler wanted to turn down, no place for him to go. Remember, all live timing and scoring is available at simtvbroadcasting.com/timing, so you can follow along in real time as the 3 car is going to get by all those drivers and put himself into 2nd. I'm taking careful note of how long it's taking Connor Horn to get this done, because in the last run of the night, this will be very important when he makes his pit stop. So he got back up to where he was at the caution, or the pit stop sequence 14 laps into that run. That's only half the fuel run. He's still got 2.5 seconds to get back up to Jeff Wright, Finney, but I like the strategy. I think it's the winning one tonight.
Yeah, he's got, again, a lot of clean track ahead to work up to Jeff Wright. He's got a tire advantage, and also I imagine he's been, if anything, managing to save his tires just a little bit better than the 48. But Jeff Wright also looking pretty strong. We still haven't seen Horn in the lead just yet, so I don't think we can truly count Jeff Wright out just yet as well. So we have to keep it on. The 48 could be his first win of the season.
You notice the Richard Petty driving experience on the
Oh, I did not.
Well, there you go, and fittingly, Connor Horn in the Petty blue car tonight. He come out of the corner. Reggie Ortega on his rebound after an earlier collision. Not sure if he spent a whole lot of time in pit lane fixing that car. There's still a bit of a dent on the nose, but it's pretty out there. At least it was prettier when it rolled off the truck, but an okay night. I think the damage is hurting him a little bit, though.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised because if I'm not mistaken, he had to go, he went off the track, off of pit road, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, he might have gotten away with that.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that he did get away with that. And it wasn't because the evidence cleared it, because I'm looking here, they never cleared it for him.
I wonder if you enter pit road legally and then leave the pit lane area and then come back in after the pit entrance, I don't know if that gives you a penalty. Maybe if it's just if you enter illegally, period.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was if you just leave pit road and it's not through past the green cones there. You can see off to the right of the screen that it gives you a penalty, but I could be wrong. I haven't been. Luckily, I haven't had a lot of chance to experience that or test that out myself. But for a regular avoided death, and it's going to still be running inside the top 10.
I was asked where I got my telestrator from. It's a fun little tool. I love that thing. It's so easy. But Ortega up into 9th place now as he continues his run. The second long green flag run of the night. When's our next fuel window here? It seems like we got a long ways to go. And Connor Horn only 7/10 back from our race leader.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys looking to pit at around lap 100, a little bit shy, around lap 95 to 100. I think we were going to expect a lot of the guys to make their second trip down to pit road. We might actually see them come in a little bit earlier because to kind of balance out the run to the end. We only got 35 laps though from lap 100. Basic math. 100 plus 35 equals 135. So we might see some guys come in earlier just to kind of cut the length on the tires down, just so they're not spending too much time on the older tires.
Whoa, Tim Downey Jr. Big moment there in 3 and 4. Or actually, that's 1 and 2 over there. Go back and have a look how loose he was. He just turned off into the corner and just, I don't know if he got on the apron here just the slightest bit. Yeah, right there. Catches the apron, slides up the racetrack. Look how out of control he is right there.
Yeah, did a great job again with some tire left to save himself from getting to that outside wall. Because man, if you went to get sideways like that out of the corner, that wall creeps up on you and creeps on you fast. So he's able to keep it off and still right in behind Reggie Ortega.
Here's Connor Horn to the race lead in just a moment with the run that he's coming. He's 2/10 quicker a lap right now. The points leader's won 8 races this season and still on a charge. Catching Jeff Wright, who's having a season night. I don't think it's going to be enough. He's going to have to do something creative if he wants to beat this 3-car tonight.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to maybe pit road strategy or something, because I don't think again he can really compete with the raw pace of that 3 machine.
The problem with the pit road strategy is that he's doing something different than the 3-car, and the 3-car's beating him. So he's got to change that strategy. And the best thing he can do right now is hold off Connor Horn and then get on that strategy and just try to outrun him, because you're not going to outsmart him. He's got the upper hand right now. He's got more fuel and more tire than you do. I don't really know if there's any other way you could get the upper hand on him other than just flat out racing him to the end.
Yeah, Horn able to keep that car sticking to the inside lane, Wright struggling a little bit on the outside, but still able to maintain some semblance of a run down the back straightaway, but it's not by much.
Into turn 3, gonna nose ahead about 1.5 feet. Wright's gonna try to carry the speed. It's not quite gonna be enough though as Connor Horn squeezes out of turn number 4, and he's not quite clear. The 48 side draft on the front stretch. Gonna try to hang there, but can't do it. Jeff Wright goes back to second, Horn to the lead.
You know, like you're saying, the big question is, can he stick with the 3? This is going to be the big decision, the interesting thing to see here. If Wright can stick with Horn, I pretty much agree with it. He should just try to come in with him. However, I do think Horn's going to run away, because now he's got nothing stopping him now to, try to etch out a gap here. I'm sure he's going to want to.
Working our way towards lap number 90. If you were to split this race into equal thirds, it would have been a pit stop at 45.90. That would do it. So are we going to see people split the run into that geometric segments, or are we going to do something a little bit more creative like the 3?
I think we can see guys cut it a little bit short here, maybe between 90 and 95 coming in, because they came in at around lap 50 for the last set of pit stops. So might see a little bit here. It's more or less going to take them towards the end of the fuel tank.
Should we plan for a caution? Is that something we always see? These races run so green, and then there's always something at the end. Do we plan for a yellow, or do you strategize assuming it's going to stay green to the end?
I think you definitely want to keep that in the back of your mind. You want to maybe plan a little bit accordingly. You don't want to base your whole run off, because obviously we have yet to see precedence for that, considering it's been green. We've only had 1 caution the entire night. That was at the very beginning of the race. So I doubt we're going to see caution, but you always want to keep that in mind. Keep that mindset open just in case it does, so you can have a backup plan, I think, in case things go awry.
Seeing lap times again about 2 seconds off of the best, so we're deep enough into the run now that tires would get you a big short-term advantage. About 55 laps to go next time by.
Look at a run off of turn 2 to try to get past AJ Stroud, but not quite. Going to sit it behind. Same thing with Cabot.
15 left a big hole in the bottom that Cabot's going to try to fill. Not quite.
going down the front straight, trying to get runs on one another. And this is going to be a little bit frustrating, I imagine, for Bell in behind. Trying to get past Travado, and he's going to get a little bit tight as he starts to fall in behind the 33. These guys also looking pretty loose off the corner as well.
There's so much on throttle time around here that it's so difficult to get an upper hand on everybody, especially when you're on similar or older tires. The longer you can stay in the throttle, the faster you're going to go. That sounds simple, but when it comes to how to actually drive the race car, it is so difficult to stay on throttle, especially in turn 4. That corner will sneak up on you and bite you if you're not paying attention here. Race leader Connor Horn has gained about a half a second on Jeff Wright and got Brennan Gagnon in between them, but I don't think Horn's getting any closer to the 48. So what do you do now? Would you pit as soon as you possibly can, or would you try to just stay on the 3-car strategy, maybe even outrun him?
I don't think Wright's going to be able to outrun Connor Horn. I think he maybe, try to even out the stints. I'm sure Horn's going to try to overcut again. I would say try to not be on the older tires longer than you need to, as Gagnon going to get very loose entering turn 1, almost swerved down into
he's still loose.
Back off and let the 48 on by.
Oh man, he's still handling that car at the exit of the corner. Only got 13 drivers on the lead lap. If we get a caution, I'd say everybody's going to come. And the tires are clearly an advantage. Again, this is such an interesting way for these races to run because clearly track position matters. We've seen that, especially when you get strung out. But tires matter almost as much. And I'm not sure if we have 15 laps to go, I'm not really sure what I want to do.
Yeah, I think if we have 15 laps to go, I think you're kind of going to have to come down for tires. I mean, obviously depending on how old they are at that point. But it really is, again, it's where these drivers have to make a call. You got to look at what's ahead of you, take what the information you know so far and kind of gauge what your strategy is going to be. I would think for most of these guys, it's going to be pit whenever you can after maybe 5-10 laps to do a run because the tires are just worth too much.
For third place, AJ Stravado, Alex Bell, Adam Cabot. All three of these Camaros nose to tail. Now, the first driver that is not driving a Chevrolet Camaro, you'll have to look all the way back to 10th to find the Camry of Tim Downey Jr.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have Eddie Trejo and Ben Laughter, usually the guys bearing the Ford badge, but unfortunately none of them here tonight, so it's just Toyota and Chevy, and even then, only 4 Toyotas and 3 of them retired. Yeah,
Wagner, Golly, and Casey Lakatos. Casey Lakatos actually is a DNS tonight, did not start this race, peculiar enough. But as we make our way towards the end of this race, is anybody poised to keep the 3-car from winning the championship? I just don't see anybody. The 54, with his runs the last couple weeks, I think would have been my pick to do it. But tonight pretty much eliminates him from championship contention. So who's going to take it to the 3? Is the 33 good enough to do it?
No, I'm sorry. That's a really blunt answer, but I mean, you can't. It's really hard for someone to compete with Connor Horn. He's on another level. They barely let him in. There's an iRating cap, not on the low end. I think there is one on the low end, but the concern was the cap on the high end. That's actually why we don't have Alec Martinez back with us, because his iRating is too high. Connor Horn's iRating was low enough barely to get in to be able to race the season, and they said, yeah, after the season, he's not going to be able to come back. And we're seeing why. He's just too dominating. And looking if he can finish out tonight, get his 9th win of the season.
That would be impressive, considering we've only had, this is our 20th race. That's pretty much almost 50% of the races that have happened this season. It's also more than 50, it would be more than 50% of the races he's started. I believe he's only got, what, 16 starts?
Yeah. I believe 17 starts before this race. That would make this 18 starts this race. So actually, it'll be exactly 50% win percentage for his starts this season.
That's incredible, as Kyle Petty would say. Brandon Bowers is currently the driver with the fastest lap of the race. I don't know if I could have predicted that one. A 29.662 is the best lap we've seen so far.
Yeah, I want to see where he ran that on. He ran that on lap 8. That was a little beginning of the race, so it's been a while since anyone's turned anything faster.
Now, let's note something. I'm not sure how much of this is planned and how much Connor Horn is saving, if he's saving anything, but Jeff Wright has not disappeared off the radar of the 3. He's still back there. It's about a half a second, but it's not a huge gap like I would have expected at this point in the run.
Yeah, I'm curious if this maybe is by design, maybe Wright giving, maybe Warren giving a bit of a toe to his teammate. I don't know if that's necessarily going to help him at all, or if this is, Horn pushing it to Wright to be able to keep touch with the three of Connor Horn, as you see Elliott Butler down pit road, pretty much around schedule. He was one of the first guys to come down. In the last sequence will be one of the first drivers to kick off this sequence of pit stops.
Yeah, it seems like he's pretty much doing it on 45 and 90, just splitting the race into equal thirds. Right sides are down. Let's see if he can get the left sides change up here and what kind of timeline we're working with. Adam Cabot's going to hit pit lane. 14.8 second stop for the 6 as the 77 comes on down. Long pit road to run at 55 miles an hour. 16 of Clifton Cockrell is in and out.
You know, I'm just feeling a hunch. I don't know if this is the inner Larry Mack in me, but I have a feeling we're going to see our caution around 110. I don't know why. I have absolutely no stats based off, but I feel like we're going to get.
Well, Larry Mack would have used stats, so I don't believe you. You're the discount Larry Mack. Where's your calculator?
I said I don't have. I have literally nothing. I just have a hunch. I have it's based off of no statistics, no math. I have a feeling we're going to see a caution late in the race at around 110. I don't know why.
Barry Mack instead of Larry Mack. He's the worst brother. Well, Connor Horn's going to come across the line. He's got Jeff Wright tucked in right by him, and I have to imagine that Connor Horn is not running full tilt right now. He's got fresher tires. There's no reason why the 48 would be faster than him at this point in the race. Unless he's burned off those tires. I just don't see that being a possibility.
I'm curious if Connor is actually kind of saving his stuff to maybe go a little bit longer. And I can't see him going that much longer. He's going to have to pit within the next 7-8 laps, I would think.
Yeah, well, so the key thing is we noted on the last time his run through the field, it took him about 20-ish or 25 laps to get back to the leader. So he cannot spend too long dilly-dallying because he's got to leave himself about 20-30 laps to get back to the front just in case we get a caution that would put him back.
Right, struggling. You see him really push up the hill. I think he's going to have to come down this time by at least with 48. Not sure about the 3 Connor Horn. But Wright really starting to lose grip in his tires. And it looks like he's coming on down this time by.
Yep, and a nice smooth entry. Get those tires under control. Bit of a lockup there in the right front, but he's changing them. Won't be a problem. And Connor Horn, again, it was 5 laps. Remember, that was the difference last time. We'll see if it's another 5 laps that would take him to lap number 100 before we'd see this 3-car hit pit lane.
Yeah, I don't entirely see why he would try to pull something like that. I mean, unless he really just wants to give himself a challenge. By all means, but we'll see here how long is he going to continue out. If not, there's good cost in the race if he stays out too long.
Well, he's gotten lucky. He's got the golden horseshoe the last couple times. Remember the 2-tire call at Auto Club Speedway a few weeks ago that we thought was dooming him to mediocrity. Ended up winning that race. So I don't really know if there's a whole lot. He could probably take half a lug nut and probably still be good. As we work within the last couple laps of the first 100 of this event, we'll get into the final 35, about 20 minutes from here to the end, as Horn stays out another time.
Ooh, looking at Bryce Clues, it looks like he got, I think, a pit road speeding penalty. I'm trying to look at what happened to him.
Go back and find out.
He was in pit road for a stall for 50 seconds.
Wonder, did he speed, or was it it was a commitment violation? No. Oh, it might have been a commitment violation, but because he just made it in. Well, that was close.
Yeah,
It could have been, I don't know.
I'm looking at his speed. It went up to 51 miles an hour, but it went back down pretty quickly too. So I don't know. Whatever it is, sucks that happened to him. And it's fortunately going to put him back in 14th after running, showing some solid top 10 pace.
Reggie Ortega currently in second. The best thing that could happen to him and Brennan Gagnon right now is they get a caution. But the field, as we look from high above, is so spread out, I just don't see that being likely.
Yeah, I think if anything, the caution could come up from the guys being on older tires. You know, if you're out there too long, the tire can kind of slip on you and catch you off guard. And that's just kind of when we see the cautions also with some of the guys with fresh tires working back up to the order at a quick rate.
Tim Downey Jr., did he? Oh, that was close. I don't know, maybe it was just the angle I was looking at it from, but potential. Was he there?
He's good. It's kind of in the corner at this track.
Oh, okay. It looked a lot closer from the angle I first saw it at, but that was close enough to bother me. As Reggie Ortega is going to bail out on that strategy, he'll hit pit lane. Butler and Bell, woo, fly by the camera at 185 miles an hour.
Yeah, these guys going at it easily as Bell will get on by. Move past him, gaining up ahead. He's kind of just hanging out, hoping for a caution, really off pace. Where the other guys are just hearing on the radio too. Connor Horn coming in this time.
Yeah, we'd expect that. It's 5 laps after we saw 48 hit pit lane. Can he get the car woed on down? He's a little bit hot. Down to first gear, 50 miles an hour, perfect for the 3.
Yeah, pretty much is at the end of the tank too, so he's got 35 laps left in the race to run down the leaders. It's what he had last time too. It's about how long it took him to get back to the lead, so we'll see if he can do it again.
We've had 1 caution so far. It was on lap number 1, involved the 24 and the 30. Jeremy Miller was out only a couple laps after that. Caleb Weekly out with hardware issues. Casey Laconis did not start this race. The 54 out with crash damage. David Mott Jr. out. He's out on the racetrack, but 30 laps down. Matt Wagner also out, as is the 22 of Steve Turner. Didn't see why Steve Turner ended up out of the race, but he's now 25 laps down and done for the night.
Looking at Jeff Wright going to the inside of Elliott Butler. This battle for 4th place shouldn't be too much of a battle. Wright with fresh tires will get on by for 4th place.
And a lot of traffic ahead of him. We'll see if some of them drive away on fresher tires. He's probably going to catch another group. There's the 19 of Martin Sproul. And Sproul is, again, much like the 48, it just had an off season. I don't know what is up with the 19 or the 48. The 48 made the chase. 19 did not. And he was so good last season. It just shocks me how far that car fell.
Yeah, him, so pretty much Sproul, Wright, Tim Downey Jr. and Zach Halpern, all 4 of those guys really just off seasons this time around. I'm sure they're kind of hoping to get their runs going back in the right direction come next season.
It seems like everybody got a portion of AJ Stravato's bad luck. And he had enough for 4 or 5 drivers, so I think he's spread it around. There, speaking of AJ Stravato, he is currently the race leader up underneath the 24 of Bailey Turner to put him 1 lap down. And there's Jeff Wright right behind.
Bailey Turner has not been having a particularly good night. Been struggling ever since he got damaged to that car very early on with contact with Jeremy Miller, which is what brought out the first caution. Back in 12th place, but AJ Strada just had it in the lead, but Jeff Wright closing in on him very quickly.
Big push up the hill in turn number 2. Where's the 3 of Connor Horn? 9 seconds back with, I don't know, 30-ish laps to go. Is that enough time?
It's going to be barely. It's definitely going to be close, I think, seeing him run it down. So I wouldn't say this race is completely over just yet. I feel like Horn might have stayed out just a little bit too long in tires.
We talked about that earlier. You got to leave yourself. If you want to play the overcut strategy, I love that call. It's been a pretty successful strategy at tracks like this, but you have to make sure that you leave enough time at the end of the race for your new tires to prevail. If you don't leave yourself enough time, you run the risk of just getting outrun before you have enough time to get back to the race lead. So look at Alex Bell, busy with traffic behind, and Adam Cabot stuck in there too.
These guys got a bit of battle amongst themselves for pretty much picking off right where they left off. Butler, though, a little bit further back from Cabot and Bill than they were running earlier.
Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this race, the Sunday afternoon matinee on Sim TV will be the Weekend Warriors Spec Racer Fords. That will be from Lime Rock Park tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern. Over 50 Spec Racer Fords taking on a little bull ring that could, Lime Rock Park in Connecticut. And that'll be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Then Tuesday night, Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series action from Kentucky Speedway. Then Thursday, Scars Porsche Super Cup from Circuit de la Sarthe, Le Mans. Thursday night, right here on Sim TV. Meanwhile, for the race lead, Jeff Wright, AJ Stravato have swapped positions. Alex Bell in third. Connor Horn has eaten in 2.5 seconds of the lead that Wright and Stravato had. He's entering turn 3, while Wright is about halfway down the front straightaway.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty close, I think. Horton's definitely making up in the time department, but again, he's got to pass a few guys to get to Jeff Wright for the lead. And that's where I'm kind of shrugging my shoulders, because It's quite a while. It's quite a bit to make up in only a little over 25 laps.
And I don't really think that Jeff Wright put on too big of a fight the last time that Connor Horn got there, but with 10 laps to go, or roughly that's what it's going to be by the time he gets there, I'm not moving over for anybody.
No, I think he's going to look at it. Connor, he's got enough points to his name. I think he doesn't really need the extra point for winning. And Jeff Wright, I think, honestly, he needs a win. And honestly, I would say he deserves a win. He's run a pretty good race so far. No mistakes out of that 48 camp.
He's led 65 laps, which is a race high. There's Travato, led 12. Alex Bell has led 1. Connor Horn has led 30. And it's kind of a mixing and matching throughout the rest of the field. But Wright has by far led the most.
Yeah, I think he's actually locked up to most laps led, and if not, it's going to. I believe that would be, 68 laps led would be most.
I think he's already got it locked up because the next closest car would be Connor Horn, who's only got 30 laps, and there's only 25 to go. So I think Jeff Wright's already clinched that point. So 25 to go next time by. Connor Horn lapping about 7/10 a lap faster. He's 4.2 back, and every time we say that he can't get there, he finds a way. But can't assume that the tires are going to be as good later as they are right now. I mean, he's got a big advantage, but it's going to keep dwindling.
He's got some traffic to work through. He got a little bit lucky there off the corner, able to just breeze on by Butler. Not too much issue. It's a little bit compromised on the entry to the corner, but that's going to continue on.
There's the 48, and then the 3.5 seconds.
Martin's running the high lane. I think he's conserving his tires.
And now you can see the car off in the distance. And now you've got a carrot to chase. But Connor's just flying right now. He's still running 5 to 7/10 of a second a lap faster than the race leader. He's going to sweep up underneath the 77 and go on by. That's for 4th.
Yeah, the rate he's going through, these guys actually looking to be, he's going at a much better rate, too, than I think he was at the first run.
That car has seen a lot of rubber and debris. Filthy. That petty blue car was spotless when he first pulled it onto the racetrack. Now it looks battle-torn like it's done 24 hours at Le Mans.
Yeah, I still can't believe they never really truly adjusted that. I still refuse to believe the cars get this dirty this quickly, but...
Yeah, no, maybe the nose is correct. I don't think the sides get that filthy.
Yeah, the side. Yeah, I think the sides too. There's like just a lot of oil too. That it's almost like someone just dumped oil on the cars too after a decently long race.
Brickware Racing doesn't run in that oil, so I don't. Reggie Ortega in the number 2. He's got that great looking paint scheme. He's running 8th right now. Clifton Cockrell right behind him.
Yeah, this is again what was looking to be pretty bad for Ortega. I thought he got a penalty. Was able to avoid disaster with that. Is still running again really solidly in 8th, but he's got to hold off Cockrell in behind as well as Tim Downey Jr. and further back from that is Joshua Banks in the 36 and 11.
Yeah, good effort for Joshua Banks. Was having some internet issues earlier in the night. Got those resolved. Running inside the top 15, just outside of the top 10, as Clifton Cockrell and Tim Downey Jr. going to trade spots. The 16 got real loose. Stepped up the hill. So, AJ Stravato, the second place car. Big block on the 3 down the back straightaway, and it's a battle for P2.
It's not exactly what AJ needs with 3 Connor Horn getting by, but I mean, nothing much you can really do with the older tires.
So 20 laps to go. That's still a long time, Finian, and he's eating up. The 48 still. That time was only 0.3 of a second, but that was including a pass. 1.6 back and coming with a vengeance here, 20 to go.
Yeah, I think this might be pretty much cut and dry. It was looking at first that it wasn't going to be too much of a gain for him, but he's really started to track down Jeff Wright. That being said, Jeff Wright is also pulling some decent speed as well in comparison to some of the other guys he's battle up ahead. So again, it's going to be close, but it's still looking more and more as each lap goes by into Connor Horn's hands.
So if you're Jeff Wright, is a caution going to help you or hurt you? I'd argue it's a big help if he got a yellow just to get them all back on the same strategy.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's still at a disadvantage considering he's off strategy and Horton's looking to be on the better one with fresher rubber to work with. And he's kind of just a sitting duck once Connor Horton gets there. He doesn't have the maneuverability in that car that the 3 does, so he's definitely going to need a caution. Pretty much everyone's going to need a caution, I think, to try to one-up Connor Horton. Connor Horton, really the only driver that doesn't need that caution, and that would be the hindrance to him.
18 laps to go. Counting them down, and these are going to feel like the longest 18 laps. It's less than 9 minutes of racing. It's going to feel like an hour for the 48.
He's got to just keep hitting his marks, which is kind of hard to do once the car starts to struggle. He's actually currently in the dirty air of the 36, which I think is slowing him down a bit.
He was only a tenth slower. Like, at this rate, he'll still get caught, but it's not going to be by as much as we thought. But he's got to keep up the rate that he's running right now. That time was 2 tenths slower.
Yeah, he's really struggling in the wake of this 36. That car just looking really unstable on entry, just really tight on exit. And it starts to slowly push up the hill. It was a little better that time, but you can see that 3 though bearing down on him.
19 of Sproul almost got the wall at the exit of turn 2. I think he kept it off, but it would look mighty close. 16 laps to go, 8 tenths of a second. Well, we didn't think that this overcut strategy was going to work. We thought he had pit too late. He made up 9 seconds. That's a lot of time.
Made up 9 seconds in under 20 laps, essentially. So, yeah, it's an incredible feat. Oh, as I say, he gets really loose off the corner.
And Joshua Banks is not helping the 48 right now.
No, I'm sure Jeff's hollering and screaming at Joshua to get out of the way, because it's really hurting him quite a bit.
And in Josh's defense, probably going, what do you mean? I'm not in your way, but it's the aerodynamic forces off that 36 that are hurting the 48 so much. He killed about half a second worth of time there through 1 and 2. And you can see how much he's stuck in the wash here, and this is absolutely murdering the 48 speed, and now the 36 will move on over, but it's too little too late. Damage has been done.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a problem normally, NASCAR. But Wright looks like he's finally going to be able to get on by that 36 to Joshua Banks, but I mean, I would say in that respect, too little too late.
Now the 3 car will get a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. We'll get by pretty easily on the inside. A little bit of momentum arrested there on the bottom, but within half a second now of the race leader.
And Jeff Wright requested Banks to start blocking the 3.
I bet he did. I bet he did do that. If you're going to screw me, screw the other guy too. Why don't you? And he's doing it.
It's got to get really hard.
I mean, all credit to him. I mean, it's not really helping him, but... Oh, he's going to drive way in there. Oh, man.
Well, I mean, the way Josh is driving is actually helping him out quite a bit.
Yeah. They almost got together at the corner exit. And now the 36 probably going to send a dive bomb up the inside here into 3. Yeah, he is. Oh, he's going to send it. Will he touch him? Oh, no, that was close. But Horn is through. And funny enough, in all that drama, he didn't even lose a tenth of a second.
I think he held off the inevitable for, I think, another lap. So, but I think Josh bought him a lap.
I thought that was funny. Hold him up. Yeah, I bet you asked him to do that. Race car drivers are also really good politicians.
Yes, they are. When they need a bit. But for Connor Horn to his teammate, the 48 Jeff Wright, I think we all know how this is going to play out. With 12 laps to go, Connor Horn's got all the time in the world to make this pass. Whoa!
11 laps to go. And it's just so long for Jeff Wright. He wants this and needs this so much more than the 3 car does, but Horn's going to drive it to the bottom of the racetrack.
Oh, he's really loose on the bottom.
Oh, he's way loose. Almost got himself in the wall at corner exit. Horn is there. And he's going to go to the outside. I think Jeff Wright's got to protect that. If 3 gets there, it's game over.
He's going to go out for the block, though. Connor Horn got to get a decent run off the corner and some slipstream to boot. Going to try to maybe look up the inside here. Can't imagine Wright's going to give him the outside lane.
Wright's going to stay to the right. Connor Horn's going to drive in deep into turn 1. Can he clear the 48? No. And Jeff Wright's going to throttle up around the outside, trying to hang on with 10 laps to go from Las Vegas.
So far, no good for the 3 of Connor Horn. Wright putting up a fight. I mean, because he's so close to getting a win. He just needs to hold on 1 car behind him.
And you're going to make that car feel really, really wide right about now. It's your teammate. You can get away with a little bit more than usual. Slow up on entry. Make the 3 car follow him, but Horn's better tires going to make up for that aerodynamic loss. Whoa, big slide by both those cars through turn 2.
Yeah, it looks like Horn trying to get a better run off the corner. Ooh, and then right, it looks like he hit the wall on the straightaway.
Sparks flying off the back of that car. 8 laps to go. He's held them off so far, but 8 laps is still a long time. 4 minutes worth of racing.
All right, gonna pinch Connor Horn down to the apron here as they both go side by side, heading off into turn 1.
Is he going to be clear? For a moment he was, but Wright's going to power along the outside again. He's got to keep running this outside line. He's burning up the tires on the 3 car. If he keeps doing that, he will win this race.
Yeah, that's because he's been doing a fantastic job defending off the 3 of Connor Horn. He's been pinching him down to that inside line, nothing from the 3 of Connor Horn. We're talking about it again, those fresh tires, you need them to work, and for Horn, not as fresh anymore.
Oh, and they're certainly becoming less fresh every time he uses that bottom lane to try to get around the 48. 7 laps to go. Count them down. And Jeff Wright is just driving out of the mirror right now. He's not looking out the windshield. Doesn't matter. It's a circle. He's been doing it 129 times. Doesn't need to see where he's going. He needs to see where the 3 car's going. Probably left, but he needs to see how far left he's going to go.
That's such a subtle thing. Oh, man. But yeah, as they come off the corner, Connor's still trying to. Now he's got to weigh his options. Now he's starting to run out of time. He's been stuck in behind right for 6 laps, and they've been in the exactly same order, exactly same distance, and has not got a one up. And as you said, the tire's only getting worse as he keeps trying to set it up the inside, just putting more wear.
Will you wreck your teammate if you're Connor Horn? You've got 8 wins. You don't need this.
No, I would be surprised if he did. Connor's been very patient and has been trying his best not to keep getting to other people and to other cars, and just race respectfully. And I think, again, as you're saying, he's got the points all he needs. He's ahead of Adrian Serrano. I think he can definitely settle for the 2nd place. He's going to try to still get first, though. We're going to try to do it cleanly.
5 laps to go at Las Vegas for Jeff Wright. He's been winless this season. What it would be to return to form after winning several last season and the seasons prior. It was always the short track and road course king, but Connor Horn has been the magic man everywhere the past couple, well, the entire season, basically. He's won almost half of it. 4 laps to go from Las Vegas. Horn's looking to the right. I wouldn't let him bait me up there from the 48.
Almost look down on the inside, but cut back in behind. Maybe turn down here on entry.
Oh, there's traffic.
He's gonna get some fresher air to work with here, and this lap traffic could help out Connor Horn, depending where Wright catches him.
Oh, here they go down the backstretch. The 48's gonna swing to the left. Try to get by the 16. He's gonna go for it. Running out of time, running out of laps. Big slip up to the center of the corner. Here comes the 3 to the bottom of the racetrack. 3 laps to go. Blocked by the 48 down the front stretch.
Oh, it's getting dicey. It's getting on now. As you see, Connor Horton got a good run back over the inside again. But he's got to try something different.
Oh.
Same thing hasn't been working. You see Wright pinch him down and not even any gain for the 3. He's getting worse and worse down there.
Next time by will be 3 miles, 2 laps to go for Connor Horn. He's won 8 times this season. The 48 has not. Coming off of a season that he would like to forget. Winning a race with 3 races left in the season would be a huge accomplishment for the 48. But teammate versus teammate, 2 laps to go from Vegas. Roll the dice here, Finian. Let's see what you get.
Yeah, I think Wright's kind of hoping that he can. If he can hold for 2 more laps, he's done a great job these first 10 or so, keeping Connor Horn in behind.
The exit at turn number 2, side by side for a moment, but Horn tucks back in line.
Tries to look back up the inside here on entry, but Wright blocks him down, giving him all the dirty air to deal with. No bite.
White flag one more time around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The 3rd to last round of the 2020 season. Connor Horn leads the points. He doesn't need this win. He's got 8 to his name. The trophy shelf overflowing, but Jeff Wright is empty this year. No trophies on the shelf. If he could add one tonight, it would be huge for not only his season, but also the morale heading into Indy Road next week, where he excelled in the past.
Here he goes through turn 3 for the final time. Horn nowhere close. He's got him.
Checkered flag for Jeff Wright. Finally, again, 2 in a row for the 48. Comes to the line. Connor Horn, not quite enough. He comes home in 2nd. Jeff Wright wins. And
How about that?
the 48 has returned to form.
Yeah, honestly, great job by Jeff Wright. I thought this was going to be signed, sealed, and delivered for the 3 of Connor Horn, but Wright did a fantastic job holding him off for almost 15 laps in behind. Fantastic defense from the 48. Absolutely deserved this victory.
And my mistake, he actually won the last week as well, so it's 2 in a row for the 48 car. So 2 trophies on the shelf. But How amazing is this for the 48 to finally get this car back where it belongs in victory lane, Finney? I mean, this is after how many wins he's gotten in previous seasons, and he was always the one to watch out for. But now he's going to head to another racetrack where he's going to be good. I think he's in great position at the tail end of the season.
Yeah, this is a great boost in performance. It's going to boost him up in the points. Again, nowhere quite near the top of the point standings, but just if anything, it's a boost in morale for this team with his 2 wins in a row. I didn't think we would see that after the season he's had so far, but starting to turn his luck around.
Were we at Martinsville last week?
Was that? Yes.
That's why I forgot. I don't know whoever wins Martinsville. It's usually just attrition there.
It really
I blame
is.
that. Not my inability to check stats. You're my stats guy.
Yeah, readings are.
I don't think the Martinsville Trophy counted. I think the pace car driver has that one in his truck.
I think he has the most laps led, definitely.
I think so. So celebration and elation for the 48 and nose it up against the Las Vegas wall and burn it down one more time. Here's a look at the race results. So that's page 2. There's the look at the top spots. Connor Horn just came up short. Clean, fair racing there by both of them. I think it helped that they were teammates, Vidian. But Horn, again, will continue to lead the championship standings all the way into Indy Road next week.
Yeah, I have a dirty feeling if they weren't teammates, they would have been going tooth and nail. Would have been seeing something like out of Darlington. Finish these guys just dooring each other off the final corner.
I don't think it would have even made it to the final corner. That 48 car would have been in the wall about 20 laps ago, but that's what helps to have a teammate. Horn second, Stravato third, another good run for him. Alex Bell fourth, excellent run for the 15. Adam Cabot in fifth. Didn't really see him up in front as much as I thought we would. Joshua Banks again grabbing an 11th. The big disappointment tonight, Yusuf Ghali retiring that car in 20th after the early crash he had with the 19 of Martin Sproul. That's pretty much it for the 54. After such a strong start to the season, a handful of wins, it ain't going to be a championship run for the 54 this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just not been the playoffs. He's just not been performing up to par, and I think he's going to be a little bit disappointed considering the run he had earlier this season was looking to be the one to take it to Connor Horn, but it just doesn't look like it's going to be the case.
All right, we're going to step away for just a moment. We'll be right back in a moment for interviews with our winner and more. Stay put. Be right back for ORL. Third race to the end of the... I don't know what I'm saying. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to Sim TV and the Outsider Racing League round number 20. Chase race 3 of 5 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Here now with our 4th place finisher, Alex Bell in the number 15 Polar Pierce Chevrolet Camaro. Alex, a really strong run tonight. It was a lot of fun watching you slice and dice out there, but it seemed like passing got tricky. Had you had a late race restart, do you think it could have gone any better?
Yeah, man. The initial start of the race, I felt like we were about the fastest car out there for 5 laps, but so definitely was hoping for a caution there at the end, but still a hell of a battle between AJ and myself there in the dirty air, trying to get that to work as best we could. That was really fun to having it green to the end like that.
Well, think back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course and the challenges of running on a road course that's tight and technical. Next week, we head to the Indy Road Course. We've been there before. What have you learned from that last run, and do you expect that you'll be a contender next week in the penultimate round of the season?
Man, I've been silently pretty good through road courses this season. 5th at Watkins Glen. I think we were close to 5th and 6th at Mid-Ohio. Hopefully get the Indy Road Course, like I said, have some experience there, but just keep it consistent. Is really the only thing I can ask for. Hopefully a top 5 run would be great.
Alex, congratulations on a top 5 run. Started 5th, finished 4th in the 15 Polar Pierce Chevy. We'll see you next week at Indy.
Thank you, boys. Have a good night.
You too. Moving on now to our 3rd place finisher, AJ Stravato. A handful of wins this season, but the top 5s just keep on coming, AJ. The luck has completely turned around. We joked that you gave it all your bad luck away to the 25 and the 19, but take us through your night and driving up there inside the top 5. Wasn't quite a victory, but still a really strong points night.
Yeah, we had a good run. I'm glad DSR 123 baby. That was we had a hell of a run, but yeah, I just got a little bit behind on I think pit strategy right there. I feel a little bit behind. Track position at this track is so key, and just saving those tires. But Jeff and Connor were clearly just a little bit faster. That's why they gapped the field. But get third's good, but we need wins if we're going to beat Connor. We're pretty even all race.
Next week we head to Indy Road Course and then Phoenix for the last round of the season. Which of those two is your best chance to win, and do you think you can dethrone the 3-car towards the end of the season here?
Honestly, at this point, I think someone's got to go run for Connor. We're right on pace with him. We've been pretty much 1-2 each week. It's just he's tough to beat, man, and I got to give him props when props due. Glad to have him as my teammate, though, and learn from him. But I think next 2 weeks are about equal chances, but we'll see how it goes. Just got to take it 1 week at a time and see what happens.
All right, AJ Shervato, third place tonight. AJ, thanks for talking. We'll see you at Indy.
Absolutely.
Second place now will be Connor Horn, the number 3. 8 wins this season. Not a win tonight, Connor, but a good, clean battle with your teammate to the end. Your thoughts on tonight and moving forward and clinching this championship with 2 rounds left in the season?
Yeah, it was a really good battle. I wish lap traffic didn't get in the way a little bit there, but it is what it is. My tires, they are pretty much used up anyways. I probably could have slid up right in front of him and got myself wrecked, but I didn't want to do that to Jeff, because obviously we're teammates. I shouldn't have stayed out that long, and it bit me. I had to drive through, I think I was back 10 seconds. I drew too hard. I drove the tires too hard. Couldn't really pass on the inside and wanted to. The bumps really affected the car when it got later in the run, but yeah, another 1-2. Actually, I think that's might be the second straight 1-2-3. I think AJ finished third or something last week, but yeah, don't know. That's odd. It's like we're good or something. But yeah, a really good day for all of us. I wish I could have passed him. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. Too bumpy, but a good result. It was fast, clean racing, you know.
Strategy was there. It wasn't quite lucky enough, Connor. Congratulations, a second place run. We'll see you at Indy Road next week. Good luck on the road course.
Yes, sir. We get to turn right.
All right, moving on to our race winner, Jeff Wright. Second win of the season after coming off of a Martinsville win last week. Jeff, tonight winning at Las Vegas by 1/10 of a second over a teammate. What was your heart rate like those last couple laps?
Yeah, it was high for sure. Yeah, things were pumping. I didn't know if we were going to get this one finished out or not. Connor, he's just so good at these 1.5 miles. And I mean, how about we finally got ourselves a win on 1.5 miles. And, you know, we run really well at short tracks, road courses. I felt like I've been running okay on the 1.5 mile and a halves, but yeah, Las Vegas is one of those tracks that I really like coming to, just like I like coming to Chicago. But I don't know if I've actually won a race or not in this league at a 1.5 mile track. So to finally get a win at a 1.5 mile, and especially against someone as good as Connor, you know, that means a lot. And gotta, you know, give a shout out there to Joshua Banks, racing him really tight there. So that probably helped us out. But it was so hard to pass on the inside, and I knew that. So every single time Connor dove low on me, I mean, I drove it in, you know, as hard as I could without the thing coming around on me. And to get 2 wins this season after going winless for so long just feels really good here. And especially to do it at a track where, you know, typically I'm not the guy to look at and say he's going to go win that race. So we got one at Vegas here, and it just feels great.
Well, you mentioned your prowess on road courses and short tracks, and that's something we discussed a lot tonight. We head to the Indy road course next week, but on road courses lately, the performances haven't quite been there. So what's going to be different next week, and do you think you got a legit chance to win that race and make it 3 for 3?
Yeah, we're going to go there. We're going to do our best. It's actually my birthday, so it'd be awesome if we could win on my birthday. Last time we were at Indy Road Course, we ran really well. It was kind of between me and Bailey, and then Mark Emerson were the front runners there. And then I also really hurt myself. I downshifted a little bit too early, spun it around. So I'm looking for some redemption for sure. And but like you said, you know, I haven't been the best car on road courses. Connor's obviously going to be a guy to look out for. You look at Bailey and AJ; those guys run well at road courses, as well as Adam Cabot's usually up in the mix as well. So it's not going to be easy. I'd love to go get one. I'm not sure if it's the same configuration that we ran last year at Indy Road, but yeah, we're going to go do our best here, see if we can make it 3 for 3. It'd be really tough, but at this point, we're just going for wins. We're pretty much probably out of the championship talk here at the moment. So I just want to go, you know, try to see if I get some more wins, and right now we're doing just that.
Jeff, congratulations on going 2 for 2. We'll see you next week in Indianapolis. Good luck out there, bud. We'll see you later.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, with that, that's going to wrap up the interviews here tonight, Finian. Final thoughts. I am looking at the championship. I'm looking ahead. Take a look at where Connor Horn is, and AJ said Connor's have to have something go wrong. It's really difficult to DNF at a road course, especially at the Indy road course. And at Phoenix, same deal there. There's a lot of pavement there, and it's pretty hard to wreck bad enough there to end your day. So if I'm Connor Horn, I'm feeling pretty good about this championship.
Yeah, I think the way that we could have seen an upset really is if we were going to Daytona or Talladega. Late in the chase, that would have really thrown a shoe and a wrench into things. So, because you can never really predict what happens there. But yeah, road course, I think you pretty much know what you're going to expect. I think Connor's going to get a solid finish there. Maybe not a win, but will definitely be in the top 5. And then Phoenix, again, all he has to do is just maintain the solid lead he's already got. So Horn looking really good for the championship. Doesn't have to make a mistake. And we're kind of saying this last time in VRL when it was Horn and Hutton fighting it out for the championship. Made a big mistake at Dover that cost him. So as long as he doesn't do something like that, he should be in a solid chance to take on the championship.
I hear words being exchanged down in the pit lane between Martin Sproul and Yusuf Ghali. We're going to go check that out in the post-race. But that'll be it for us tonight. We'll see you next week at the Indianapolis Road Course. I'll be at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, trying to join as best I can, depending on the internet situation there. So hopefully I'll be there. We'll see you next Saturday night, 10 p.m. for the penultimate race of the season. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful night.